Hello and welcome to another edition of another book review. This week I'll be reviewing Disaster Falls by Stephane Gerson, who is a Frenchman who teaches at New York University. I'll go real briefly into an overview of this book. I'll talk a little bit about what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, finish off with what I'll be reading for next time. Stephane Gerson has written other books. This book, Disaster Falls, is the first of his stuff that I've read. This book is actually a memoir of the first few years after he tragically loses his son to a rafting accident. The book basically follows the impact that death has on his relationship with his wife, on his career, as well as the relationship he has with his older son. His son Owen, who passes away, is 8 years old at the time of his passing. So a lot of the book is him dealing with the aftermath of that. That's really the entirety of the book. I think Gerson's writing has elements of fiction in it. When I first read it, I picked up the book at a used bookstore, and it was in the fiction section of the used bookstore. And it didn't really dawn on me till really after I had read it. I went back to online to see if it was a fiction or if it was memoir. And on the back it does say memoir, and everything I've read about it is that it is a memoir. Aspects of it are fiction-like, to where the incident occurs at the beginning of the book, but he doesn't really go into details of exactly what happened until later in the book, which I thought was an element of fiction, of trying to keep you in suspense of exactly what happened there and whose fault it was, if anyone was at fault, and all those things. It's a really hard book in a lot of ways to read, because it is dealing with the death of a child. I think he handles it with the amount of gravitas that it deserves. I think that it felt very knowledgeable of the fact that it was one person's view of things, and it was kind of a strange death in the sense that at 8 years old you're not necessarily a full person. You're still growing into who you are, and the book kind of deals with the struggle of how do you place someone who is that young. What does that mean when they leave? And I thought it's very, very well written and very powerfully written in that sense. I think if there are quibbles that I had, it's that there are parts of it, their little opening dialogue at the beginning of each chapter that I take. It's never really fully explained, but I think it's just words that people have brought to him and his wife after Owen's passing about Owen. So they'll be like, Owen was one of the best at this PlayStation game, or things like that. Like I said before, it's a really hard subject for a lot of people to read. So if the idea of going into a 200-plus page book about the death of a small child is something that is not something you really want to dive into, I fully understand. I think the book is a little bit more than that. It does go into Stephane's father and his health struggles, and it does. It may not sound like it, but it does end on something of a hopeful note. So I really, as much as one can enjoy Disaster Falls, I did enjoy it. I thought it was very well done, even though the subject matter was very difficult. So that's Disaster Falls, and next time I'm going to be reading something completely different, The Cartel by Don Winslow. As always, if you've read the book, please feel free to leave comments in the comment section below if you have questions. Until next time, bye.